Really happy about the way we played the other night. Very exciting win for us, and just to watch the way our kids played hard and the way they battled. But now we just got to move on and get ready for Texas Tech. And you look at what they've done. They're the number 2 offense in the country, number 2 scoring offense. Mahomes is the number 1 passer, right at 500 yards. And we know this, our hands are going to be full. We're going to have to play really good on defense. Knowing how good Oklahoma's defense is and the numbers he put up were just amazing. So, our guys are going to get a chance to watch that tape. We get to the day, Monday's preparation day for us, and they'll have a chance to just focus in and lock in and get ready to go to practice on Tuesday.
Charlie, the logic all along seems like has been, if you taste some success, these guys will be able to build on it. But for whatever reason, that hasn't been the case. I know there's a lot of layers to it, but as you now come off another good win and move forward, any thoughts on how you can actually get them to build on it the right way?
Well, you just got to look at it, Ricky. You have 4 games left, and it's a 1-game season now. So our guys knowing how important this game is, and then knowing that we haven't played well on the road, and so it's more of our focus now is just how where we can get our guys to just go play well on the road.
Charlie, Saturday was the first time you acknowledged the outside negativity and noise. Why did you want to recognize it after the game? Was it a point that you were just so fed up with hearing all of it that you really couldn't take it anymore?
No, Bob, I just, at that time, I just looked at how well we played and the way we bounced back and then, what had been going on. But, now I think that enough has been said, and so let us just move on to attack and get ready. And I think our players, they understand what's at hand.
Are you seeing, because a lot of the problems on the road, sometimes that is a function of youth. I know you try not to use that as an excuse, but are you starting to see these guys grow up enough to mature enough to where you're like, I think they're finally ready to handle this?
Well, you come off at one loss, Dennis. We play well at home. Then we, just coming out of K-State, and I told our guys that we talk so much about just playing really good defense, which we haven't. We haven't got started on defense. You look at when we was at K-State, they're able to take the ball the first 2 drives and go score. And it was our fault, with the penalties. And we talk about being a disciplined team. You can't have those penalties. You just can't give them yards. And and that's what we're going to have to talk about. Our guys are going to have to understand that. And you got to play together. And the kicking game is so critical on the road. And we just, there's so many factors that are involved that we just need to make sure our kids are just locked in. And they just see, now that you played well, let's come back. Let's see if we can bounce back and play really good, knowing we're going on the road to play a very tough opponent.
Coach, you talk about trying to grow from this and build from this, but isn't there just value in the fact that they played well when it counted against Baylor, and now maybe, just maybe, they trust each other a little bit more on the field?
Well, you can look at it from 2 sides, and I think the trust has always been there. Where now that you've seen guys go make plays, and you look at some of the plays that were made, like Lorenzo Joe making a big catch there, and then getting down the field. Then Amani Foreman making a catch on the sideline that got us into the a good throw by Shane, but him making that catch, and it was just so much defensively some really good efforts there on defense. So the trust is there, just more them just building on it and just overcoming. It's we harp on it so much, and I told them, guys, just make it a 1-game season. Whether we're here at home or on the road, we have to go play well.
Coach, Tech is a little bit different in the spread than some of the other teams you see. They like to throw the ball to the backs, so it's your second level play is a lot more important, almost as important as the secondary play, right? Linebackers tackling well and stuff.
Well, you know what it is, Steve? It's a lot of crossing routes, and what they do is, it's when they come across it, it's a lot of times, they're blocking off defenders, knocking off defenders, and guys are getting open, and it's where they're hitting guys on the run. Where when a guy catches the ball, he's he's wide open and he's getting down the field, but the quarterback is the issue because he scrambles around. And a lot of times you see a quarterback scramble, guys kind of drop their coverage, and you can't drop your coverage because he'll let it go, and he'll let it go from anywhere on the field. So we just got to be smart to keep the quarterback contained. And, TCU did a really good job of just keeping him in the pocket and forcing him to throw from the pocket.
Coach, you haven't been afraid to shake up your roster at all, especially over the past few weeks. Do you feel like your message is getting through to some of those guys, and do you anticipate any other changes going forward?
No, anytime we shake up our roster, guys still know they're going to play. They may not start, but they're going to get a lot of time, and that happened on Saturday. And, guys are going to get their numbers, and a lot of guys are going to play, and it's all about competition and competing. Patrick Brahe, he didn't, well, but that's not an issue. He knows he's going to play, so it's not like, you're sitting there saying, hey, you'll never play. That's going to happen.
Charlie, your defense has, I think, 16 sacks the last 3 games and a lot of different people. What changed with the pass rush that it's so much more effective?
Well, you know what it was, Kurt, on Saturday, it was just more pressure, and they allowed us to go just zero blitz. And just, I told them, I said, hey, we're just going to go blitz them and see if we can't get the ball out of the quarterback's hands and not allow him. Because, with our 4-man pressure, we weren't getting there. So we can't go 4, bring 5. You can't get 5, bring 6. And, if you have to bring 8, bring them. But we just got to do a better job of just covering. And I tell our guys, in the back end, you just got to cover them because we're going to play with pressure. We just can't let the guys scramble around and hold the football. Yes, in the last game it was, because anytime we got into the red zone, we came with just all that pressure against them.
Following up on Kirk's question, this week with Tech and Mahomes, how important is your quarterback pressure going to be?
It's going to be really critical, Danny, and the thing we're going to have to do is just not let him outside the pocket because, he will let the ball go, and he will, guys will be chasing him, and he'll see a guy come open, and, he'll throw it from the side, he'll throw it overhead, however he needs to throw the ball to get it there, he's going to try to get the ball there. And so what we need to do is not drop our coverage. So, guys, if they see him scrambling, do not come up. Just stay back, and if he gets across the line of scrimmage, we have to go run him down.
Charlie, can you give us an example of when you've gone to Sterling and said, I want to see this from the offense?
But I don't need to, Chip. He runs the offense, and he knows he's been doing well. Our offense hasn't been a problem and won't be the problem. But I don't need to go to him and say, he's going to say to me, hey, Coach, well, how about this? This is what I'm coming with. And I say to him, that's fine. That's way you got to call the game. And that's why I don't. He knows what he wants to call, and I don't walk up and say, hey, I need to see this play.
And as far as the players playing, is that on defense, is that your call or is that a position coach's call?
The coaches all rotate their players in. I don't look out to see who's out there. I just make the calls, but they have to do the job of rotating guys in because they know if their guys are tired or how many reps they need to get or how guys really they base that on because when they come off the field, they're talking to them and communicating with them, so they have a really good feel for the game and who's in and who's out.
That's same on offense?
And that's same on offense.
Charlie, Cliff said today he feels like you guys are as good as anybody on any given week. You've talked a lot this season about how you think you have a really good team. What do you think is still missing that is going to that you think can show up in these next 4 weeks?
Just consistency. We have to be consistent. You got to play week in and week out, and it's just when we come home, it's the crowd, it's the energy, it's the passion. They get a totally different feeling when they're at home, and they just need to have that on the road when they wake up, guys. It's okay. Just always feel like that crowd is yelling for us, and don't worry about who's sitting in the stands. Just go play. But we have to be consistent, and that's what we haven't been.
Charlie, Shane is now on pace to just possibly creep over the 3,000-yard mark if he keeps it going. But Saturday, did you sense anything out of him in terms of it really wasn't clicking early, but it did start clicking late? I mean, what's his confidence level been like on the games as he rides these ebbs and flows?
The one thing about him, he's never he's never going to be shaken for confidence. He's one of those guys just so even keel, and that's the level that he plays, and he's always there. And he trusts his teammates. He knows this. We have a really good run game, and if he puts the ball where it needs to be put, that we're going to get our scores or going to move the ball where and get it in place. Saturday after he made an unbelievable check. They knew one of our checks, so they were coming with zero pressure. He got us out of it, and then they checked back out of it. Then they checked back into it, and he checked back into the play. I mean, he's like back and forth. But he has so much confidence in just knowing the offense and knowing where we need to put the ball and then put the ball in place for us to be successful.
Charlie, it'd be easy to just give it to Deontay 50 times. Obviously, you can't do that, but how do you divvy it up? How do you sense when you need to rest him? How do you decide if it's Kyle or then we saw Tyrone in the backfield on Saturday, too?
I could give it 50 to him, but no, the thing that with Deontay, and he'll let you like, he'll come out and just take a break or two. But, you know, even I told him, I said, when we had 25, when he was healthy, then we was really splitting your numbers, and now you're going to get a lot more numbers. So now we put Tyrone back there and let him run it some, and even gave the ball to Porter. But it just got to keep him fresh, because when he's fresh, I mean, he's hard. He's hard to tackle, and he's one of those guys that he doesn't want to come out. Even when he got hit on the sideline, we walked out there, and this when he, it fell on the ball. He's like, "Can I stay in the game?" I said, "No, if we had to walk out here and get you, you have to come out. You can't just go back in." But at the time that we're taking a timeout, so he's only out there for one snap. But when he's fresh, he's as good as any, and he continues to show that.
Charlie, I know red zone defense is something you obviously stress all the time, but what made the difference in your opinion against Baylor? Was there just a different sense of urgency from your guys, or what in your opinion kind of flipped things in the red zone?
You know, Saturday, we came with more pressure in the red zone, and then, I think one time I zero blitz 7 times in a row. They just kept running. They ran the ball, run it again, and even the players. When the players come off the field and say, "Hey, coach, keep running that defense," then they're feeling good about it. And I said, "Well, we just got to make sure we cover them, because we're going to come with the pressure." And so we were able to get the stops and get the field goals. We just didn't want to give up the touchdowns, because we didn't want to fall behind and didn't want to have to fight our way back. So we know just holding the field goals will keep us close and put us in place where we need to get to.
Yeah, Charlie, a couple of times late in the game, Deontay was lined up at receiver. He's the best running back in college football. Were you on board as a football coach with him being lined up at receiver on the goal line?
No, you know what it was. We was hoping nobody would cover him. We're going to throw it out there to him and let him catch a ball. But no, it was just a matchup with them and just seeing where they was going to place people. And the thing that our offensive guys do a great job with Sterling and that crew. It's amazing how just week in and week out, and knowing that Baylor, you look at those two offenses, they were similar. Even, we're making the checks, they're making the checks. We seeing what they're running, they knowing exactly what we're running. And so even being in that situation, we were able to, get the plays that we were able to get and be as effective as we were.
Back middle, Claire. Coach, is there, a common theme that you have noticed maybe during the week or leading up to the game that helps explain the difference, like the way the team plays at home versus on the road? And also, you talked about the crowd. How can you get this team to play with that same mentality when they don't have the crowd there with them?
That's what's tough, Claire. And what our guys have to understand is even on the road, it's a different mindset for you. And, yeah, you feel it comfortable at home. Even I said to them, we're out there on Thursday practicing. And I said, okay, we're in the stadium, so you feel really loose. And now coming back here on Friday, you're going to feel the same way when we come out here at walkthrough. So how good you feel when you're at home. And I said, it's the same feeling that we have to take when we're on the road, even though it's a different atmosphere. Everything's different. Even the travel is different, how we do everything. But it's, you just got to go play and not let the factors, not let anything bother you at all. Just let's go play and let's get out to a good start. And it's just where we have to do a better job of just a whole mindset and just be mentally into it. And that's what we haven't been. And there's no excuse for it. It's just we had to have that mindset. We had to become road warriors, and we had to win on the road.
The right, Chip.
Charlie, I'm not sure if you were asked about this after the game, but the timeout that you took right before the end of the first half, just what was going on there?
What happened, we were tired, and we was trying to get fresh guys on the field, and knowing that we needed to get a pass rush. And so I took a timeout. It was 13 seconds, and I said, hey, let's get our guys organized, because we had a guy running on the field. I didn't want to get a penalty and give him yards. But still, though, we call a timeout, and then they execute the play, which shouldn't have never happened, because we should have been where we in position to make the play, and even intercept the ball.
Coach, you mentioned keeping Mahomes in the pocket. TCU held Tech way under their regular season average in yards. What's it going to take to do the same thing? What do you see in that film, and what do you guys have to do to do the same things?
What TC did a great job is just making sure that, they get him contained. He got out a couple of times, threw their first touchdown. He scrambled to the outside and threw it up over their head. And after that, they just made sure, and that's what happens. You don't want to see that happen. And it did for the first one on them, the first touchdown they scored. He scrambled out, and then from then on, he was contained, and they didn't let him outside. And that's what's got to be critical for us, not to let him outside. And if he does get outside, you can't drop your coverage. And that's what a lot of times guys, as soon as a guy scrambles, they lose their eyes, especially if you're in man, there's no reason for you ever to lose your eyes because they should be locked on the receiver. But a lot of times in zone, they lose their eyes. And then, a guy just runs past him and they never see him because he's past him then. But we just got to make sure that we keep him contained.
Coach, how surreal is it that basically a few months ago you were having an open call for kickers and fast forward to Saturday and the guy's delivering the game winner for you?
Well, you know what happened, Alex? We have with our champion club, and I put all three of our kickers in because you look at the one that Domain hit, the game winner, and then our punter, he's amazing. He boomed three of them, 50 plus, and then he had one down inside the 10, I think two inside the 20. And then Becker kicks, he had 7, and he had 5 touchbacks on his kickoffs, which they weren't able to get going. But it's good to see our kicking game and our kickers coming in and playing as well as they played the other night.
And Domain admitted he was nervous. What's he been like, his demeanor behind the scenes?
Well, if he was nervous, he said, "Hey, I just didn't want the ball in the middle." He just said, "Hey, coach, just don't put it in the middle." And I said, "Okay, which hash do you want, left or right?" And he said, "Doesn't matter the hash. I just don't want it in the middle." And I said, "Okay, let's put it on the right because at practice he hits them better from the right." I said, "Usually when you're on the right hash, you hit it better." He said, "Okay, that's fine." So we got the ball to the right hash, and he was able to knock it down for us.
Charlie, the whole 18-wheeler package seemed like it's lost a lot of its effectiveness. Do you need more wrinkles in there, and will you continue to use Tyrone as a running back?
Yeah, our offense is talking about it, Kurt, and they're going to put some more wrinkles with it. And but if you look at it the other night, and Tyrone will tell you he missed it. I mean, if he just goes outside, it's there. He's going to get the 2-point, and he tried to just bang it up in there, and one of the linebackers slipped and then hit him. But if he just go ahead, because we had it sealed, because Beck had sealed the guy inside because they all crashed down inside. He had it sealed inside, and he could have walked in. And he'll tell you, he will admit, I totally missed that hole. But we can add more wrinkles to it, and we will continue to use that package. Oh, he will play some. He'll get his snaps because you have him and Porter, and we're just giving Deontay a spell.
Charlie, on one hand, the defense made all the stops it needed at the end of that game Saturday. On the other hand, you gave up 600 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you played good defense on Saturday, and kind of how do you evaluate how that side of the ball is coming along?
Well, if you look at it, Mike, it's the first 2 scores you don't ever want to see happen. You don't want to see a team take the ball the first 2 possessions and go and drive it to go score. And then once they settle down, you give up the one there before half. Then the second half they came back and got some scores on us. But we just have to. It's about gap control more than anything. Because even with it wasn't a lot of big passes. The quarterback scramble, which has hurt us. With K-State now, it hurt us the other night. And we just got to do a better job of just keeping them contained. And it's just not a lot of matter. We rush on 4th down. Guys get up the field. You're in coverage because we played a lot of man coverage. And then he comes, running behind it because you're trailing guys in man, so you don't ever see them. So say it again. Yeah, we can play better.
Coach, I don't know if this is nationwide, if it's Big 12, but just like Texas, you guys have run for over 300 yards and lost 2 games. Texas, Baylor just ran for 398 and lost. Pat Mahomes threw for 734 and lost. What stats are most important for you to look at right now that'll tell you your defense is playing better?
Wins. No, but you have those individual stats, and you're right, and you look at it, and it's because you walk out of a game, say if you ran for that or if you passed for that, you shouldn't lose the game, and you end up losing. And it's you just got to make sure that you, at the end of the day, you come out with the win, and our guys understand that. I mean, we got to win the football game. So whatever we have to do to go win it, let's get it done.
Coach, you were able to get a lot off your chest the other night, and the guys were able to get a really confidence-building type win. Do you feel like you almost hit a reset button, if you will, going into the final third of the season?
Well, Dennis, I just, making sure, and I told them even the other night, guys, we have 4 left. So it's just a one-game season. That's the only way we can look at it. And we know what type of team we have. We know how good we can be if we get our mindset and just come out each and every week. But it has to start in practice. And I knew this. I knew last week we were going to play good because of the way they practiced. I knew we were going to play good. They went out to practice. They practiced the right way, and you didn't have to say nothing to anybody, and guys had their mindset. That's the focus that they had, and the preparation was there. So I knew that we're coming into Saturday, we were going to play very well. And so now we have to take that, and I told them yesterday, I said, now, the same focus we had in practice last week, you're going to have it again because you're really going against the top offense in the country with the top passer in the country. So if you don't, we will get embarrassed. So we need to have that mindset.
Charlie, after the game, you talked about Malik and the way he responded during the course of the game. I was just wondering, from a coaching standpoint, though, how do you handle a player like Malik, who obviously comes in as a really top recruit and a guy who gets an awful lot of accolades early and preseason Big 12 Player of the Year and then struggles on the field? What kind of balance do you try and strike with him? Have you talked to him? How do you, I guess, both employ tough love but try to nudge him along as well?
Well, the good thing you have with him is he's not a guy who is headstrong. He's not a guy that has an ego, and you can talk to him, and you can sit him down and show him what he's not doing and how much better he can be. And so that him coming back, bouncing back the other night just shows his character, and just really he wanted to prove that, hey, coach, I'm gonna show you what I can really do. And he went out there the other night and played a really good football game. And I told him yesterday, that's what I expect from you all the time. And he understands that, and because of who he is, and he knows that how important he is to this football team, and how important he is to the defense, that he needs to play well each and every week.
Stand beside center.
Charlie, your most experienced defense went in there and won 34-13 your first year. What seniors on this year's team can get these guys excited to think that they can do it again, because they were actually on this team?
Yeah, because if you look at our seniors now on defense, Boyette, Bryce, Tim Cole, Haynes, and Dylan. Those were the 4 guys that played some that night. Actually, Haynes started that night. So the good thing about it, too, that was a night game, and our defense did play well. I think that's the night that Diggs hit the quarterback and knocked him out of the game, and then we were able to go play so well. And that's what, it's going to take guys going to make plays, and guys making sure that the other young players understand how big the game is and what the atmosphere that they're going into.
PJ obviously had the pick and the fumble recovery, but Chris Boyd also was right there with him in terms of making plays. What have those 2 guys kind of shown you in the last few weeks that they're kind of coming on now?
Boyd has really come on, and he's just, like you said, he made the hit, where he hit the ball and came up, and PJ made the interception, but has covered very well, has done a lot of good things for us. And his whole focus, he's just at a different level right now, and he's kind of separating himself from the rest of those defensive backs, how well he's playing. And PJ needed that game, and we had stressed to him just how important it was, because he was on the slot receiver and how many balls was being thrown to the slot receiver. Because I said it's easy outside, because Cannon either is going to run a takeoff or he's going to hitch, one of the 2. So it's 2 routes. Sit it down or he's going to run past you. And he got passes the one time where he would hitch and go on us. But the inside receiver was the biggest threat for us, and PJ did a really good job of covering him.
Last one in the middle, Brian.
Charlie, I hear what you're saying about Sterling, but when you see Deontay out wide, do you ever look at him and go, hey, man, what are you doing?
Well, no, because you know what happens. It's a reason why he's got him out there. So one play leads to another play. So it's not like, he's only out there, one time.
Right.
So it's not like he's lined out there 10.
It's twice.
Well, let's say he wasn't out there 20 times. He wasn't out there 10. But everything leads. It's a reason for that, because if you watch him, like when we line up, and that's our 18-wheeler package. Right. And so when he went out wide, they had to adjust out. So we was trying to get them to remove linebackers out of the box. Where then when we take the ball and run downhill, we're going to get what we need. But like I said, even with the 2-point play, Swoops will tell you, he just totally missed it. I mean, they crashed inside, and he could have just walked. He could have literally just took the ball and just walked in and got the 2-point conversion.
Right. And then finally on Deontay, do you think he should be in the Doak, Walker, Talk, and even the Heisman race?
For sure, and because you look at what he's done, he has the numbers he have, and we still have 4 games left. And he's played so well. He's an unbelievable runner. And I say this all the time: if you watch him, and you know the reason why he's in the position he's in, because how hard he works at practice. So he takes it from practice to the game. And he's a very unselfish football player. He's not one of those guys that say, I got to have the ball, because he knows when he gets it, he's going to do something with it. You know, it's maybe a 2-yard gain, but at some point he's going to bust one right down the pipe, and he's going to get us a big gain. But, you know, he's been fun to watch, and has just been an unbelievable person, and just how he's been able to handle it. You know, he did a Heisman pose the other night. But even during the game, I told him, I said, if you get to 1,000, then we'll recognize you. And then he got the recognition that he deserved. But it's been fun to watch him, and I know this. He's got 4 left, and he'll just get stronger, and he does. He gets stronger as the game goes on. But like I said, the 2 with him lined out there is the reason why. And we know this. We ain't gonna throw that ball out there to him. We're gonna turn around and hand it to him. All right, thank you.